I get this question all the time, and it's a fair question because you kind of just popped up on the scene. People are learning about who you are more because of the podcast, but they really don't know who you are like at all. Like you just kind of showed up one day and it was just like a run with it and don't even really address it. So like if you could summarize yourself up in the simplest way, what would you say?
A terrible competitor. No, I mean, I started out on the scene back in. I mean, I've been working out since 2009, 2010, like with aspirations of competing. Like, I remember watching my first video. There used to be this what do they call them, forums back in the day, simplyshredded.com,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is really funny because the person that got me into like the whole bodybuilding thing was Callum von Mogren. You remember that video? It was like called Mad Desires. I used to like play that on repeat and like Greg Plitt's workout videos like 24/7. Like if I could look like anyone, it was like fucking Greg Plitt, dude. That guy would get me like bricked up. Anyways, so
Run your heart
so
shit.
but no, but really, so then what was crazy is I kind of jumped on the scene after I'd been competing a little bit whenever I was like 28 years old, because that's whenever I had met Callum, and Callum had reached out to Caitlin to like sponsor her with his company, and then she was like, hey, like my guy competes too, like get him on as well. So I went to Olympia. Actually, that was my first Olympia. We
Callum was,
traveled there.
Callum was sliding into her DMs, bro. And then your girl threw you the assist. You got a loyal one, bro.
No, it wasn't
That's
Callum actually. It was Callum's best friend Miggy was the one that reached out. And then so yeah, don't try that shit. And and then we ended up getting that sponsorship, whatever. We flew out to Vegas and did Olympia, and then yeah, it was like kind of game over after that. But pretty much like what to summarize what you were saying, like I specialize more on like the PED physiology type of realm. So I'm very, very knowledgeable in those things. And obviously, we don't talk about that a lot on the podcast. So it's not something that I talk about on Instagram or anything like that. Cause nowadays, like you talk about, I'm not even going to say the R word, but you talk about peptides on anything and all of a sudden your stuff gets shut down. So yeah, if anyone has questions on those things, I'll definitely answer in the DMs, but I don't go talking about those things
I feel like
anymore because it's just,
I feel like it's always hard to talk about yourself. Like when someone asks me a question like about like explain yourself, I wouldn't even really know how like where to go, but I think if you were to ask me from my perspective, like who is Chris? First of all, what's up, Hart? Bro,
Hey guys, what's up?
we're
What's up?
trying to explain like Chris to like because one day he just randomly popped on the podcast and like no one knew who the fuck he was, but we
Mhm.
never explained it, so we just kind of rolled with it. So I'm trying to like explain like who Chris is or how I know Chris, I guess, and better yet. But Chris is generally just the guy who knows everybody. Like that's how I can really explain. There's like always one person or a few people in a niche that somehow connected. He knows this person, this person. So like that's how Chris is, I feel like known in bodybuilding is because he knows everybody. Like he has some kind of storyline with somebody.
well,
Uh,
Alex, it's like this. Let me just put it this way. There's a lot of pros, Olympians. I'm talking about from everywhere from open competitors all the way down to men's physique, bikini, whatever, that DM me and ask me questions
yeah.
on training, peptides, protocols, things like that. So that's kind of like my specialty is aiding the people that are kind of in the high up positions that kind of have these really, really hard questions to answer. And I guess that's how my name got thrown around so much is from that kind of work.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Drew, what's up, brother? How are you?
What's up, guys? I'm good, man.
What's up, Drew?
What's up, Hart? How you doing, man?
Good brother. How you doing?
I'm good. You grew that beard out pretty quick, huh?
I like it.
Who you talking about? Me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all I got.
I like it.
it looks clean, bro. You got to
Uh,
Thank
keep it.
you.
You're always changing up your style a little bit, and that's when people are going to start doing the same thing.
I know. I know. Are you gonna grow out your beard again?
Yeah, every off season, bro.
I like it.
Okay.
And then people are always like, because they forget when I'm competing, it's like, oh, you're going to keep the beard when you compete? I'm like, no, it's just an off season thing.
Bro, I think my mom really likes the beard.
Yeah. I know she tells me she'll message me from the stories and she'll always say, it looks good. You can pull out any look, but I like the beard.
It's bad, bro. My mom, just like how Chris is generally starting to be known, at least in men's physique, I feel
Yeah.
like there's pros who are starting to know my mom from her just being such a fan of men's physique.
Yeah. I mean, I was one of them. I remember doing Miami and then Maria was there and your mom came up and introduced herself and everything, got a picture. It was pretty cool, man. Like she's isn't shy and that's an awesome thing because she's a fan of the sport. She's really passionate about it. And she was at the show that you were supposed to do.
Yeah, like
And she still won
she
anyways.
still end up going. Yep. She went. I didn't compete. Um, but yeah, it's cool seeing my parents fall in love with this. My dad is the same way. He loves every single one of you guys. Like he can recite the last Instagram story you posted.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. All right,
Antonio.
he's a goated man. All right, before we get into this, I had gotten to a random debate here, and make sure that none of your ladies are around you guys when I ask this question. If you guys,
Hun. Hey. Yeah.
We all did the same
Right.
thing. She's against the door with an upside down water cup.
Yeah.
What would you guys say is the most attractive to you guys division, female division in bodybuilding? And also in the same vein, what is too big for
Okay,
you?
I can get in depth with this one. So there's two versions of this. Okay, so like on stage, wellness by far.
Like, so
Okay,
you're saying
but
that that's the most attractive?
yes, like whenever they're dieted down or whatever. Now off season, no, I'm not going near that because they're
Really?
gonna be like, dude, they're gonna be 200 pounds. They're gonna be pushing me up, bro. And I don't want to be pushed up. Okay, so like bikini off season, I'm about that. But like bikini on prep, like dieted down, it's very like if you see them in person, they're very very small. Like it almost looks frail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I there's two different ones. So obviously wellness on season and the bikini off season. I think there's a good middle.
Would you ever mess with like a female bodybuilder?
No, no,
Drew
no.
just starts laughing.
Bro,
Fuck.
I'm a white guy. That thing might be bigger than me. Chill.
It don't matter what color you are, bro. I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck no. I'm just gonna be real with you guys. Like
Oh my
me, I'm just speaking for myself. Hell no.
God. All right, then Drew, what's your preference then?
So as far as attractive level, I'd probably say there's not a specific division, but there's a cross between kind of like Chris said, like bikini off season and then wellness, like maybe before competition. But you got to
Yeah.
remember, well, these wellness girls, bro, they get peeled on stage. It's a whole different grading scale. I mean,
Yeah.
now as far as my appreciation, that's different than attractiveness because there's more than
Right.
attractiveness. And for me, when I put that all together, I've never really been into specifically just women that compete or whatnot. There wasn't a specific look that I went
I was
for.
gonna say Maria has some density, bro.
She does, bro.
She has
People,
some
yeah, and I
density.
tell her all the time, she's an anomaly.
It's
She actually has muscle, and to me, it's always a plus, because it's the lifestyle. But she's not actively competing. But at the same time, it's like she stays on top of her diet and everything, and it's for herself. It's not for anybody else. That's attractive to me as a whole.
As a bodybuilder, do you think once you became a bodybuilder, you became more attracted to people like females with muscle?
No, here's the thing, and I'm going to put this just as blunt as I
Your,
can.
your track record is all muscle. Like if you
So,
really think about it, your track record is muscle, bro.
So nobody appreciates another man's body more than a gay man in this sport. So you think you're going to get into this and it's going to be like, oh yeah, you're going to get all these women. Women don't care, bro. It's all the gay guys that are going to come to you and they have a different type of appreciation. Now, the other way around, I think it's I don't know. I think most men that are in the sport that compete find more of an interest in another girl that competes just because it's the similarities. You're competing, you're around each other all the time. You meet at shows, it's Instagram related and all of that. But I mean, it failed for a reason. For a lot of people, there's not a lot of people in this sport that actively compete that do shows together that last.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. If there's some, that very few at least. But I've went through that whole thing, and for me, it's just it never worked out for that specific reason. And like I said, there's a difference between what's attractive versus what's appreciated. Now, me being in bodybuilding, when I watch figure, I find that so impressive.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
Now, as far as like, wow, that's hot type thing, hell no. Now some can pull it off more than others, but there's the feminine aspect and then there's the masculine aspect, and there's a cross between that, but it comes down to preference. But as far as walking on stage, like the female divisions that are show the muscularity with the conditioning, it's super impressive to me, and it doesn't take away anything for bikini competitors, but there's a discrepancy in their training and their dieting and obviously their gear intake. And it all takes a specific amount of mental fortitude to get to a certain point. But these other divisions, when they walk out, I'm just blown away and I'm impressed by mainly figure, and even the women's bodybuilding division. You know, you look at it for like, I could appreciate another dude's body without being like, oh yeah, like, you know what I mean? It's the same thing with the women. You know, you could be like, oh yeah, this chick came out and she's peeled and, you know, jacked and, you know, most likely has a better back than me, you know, what the comments are going to say, but I have an appreciation for it, bro.
I love it. Bart, I'm scared for your answer, but if you had to answer it simply, what would you say?
You say you're scared for my answer?
Yeah, bro, you never know what you're gonna get with you.
I was hoping.
Next thing I know, you're gonna pull up Andre de you or something.
Oh, for real. I was hoping you said that. I got two types. Of course, I'm gonna start with the one that's more obvious. Of course, I love the just the beautiful woman face look of like a Franciella Matos. Like when I first saw her the first time, I was like, damn, that's she's gorgeous. And I hear that from everyone that I show. Of course, the Isas, very beautiful women. I love the Brazilian, a little bit darker skinned. I love that. But I will say, Drew said that masculine, feminine kind of ratio that you want to balance the right way. The most I could do and who I do find attractive is the recent winner Natalia. Is that Physique?
Really? I mean, listen,
Yeah, bro.
I think she's the thing is, I think she's a good line between femininity while also having a lot of muscle.
That's why I like her at that
Wow,
size. Like I still feel like she's so feminine that I could totally rock with it.
really?
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
so for most people, I think that'll be just slightly above like
Hmm.
their typical threshold. But
If
I
you're out of the industry, it will be definitely over.
you think so? Like majority?
Yeah, if you're
But
not
I
in
mean,
the
if you're
industry,
in
yeah.
the,
Oh, well,
she
yeah,
is
yeah,
one
yeah,
of the
yeah,
most
yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
people on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't she like 22, 20 or 24 or something?
She's like
What?
24, 25 now, I think.
She's wow.
Crazy, bro. It's wild.
Bro, like this physique makes no sense. Like
Yeah, there's my girl.
Chris, did you see what was going on with her and Sarah?
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. I'm glad actually Terrence was a person that said something about it. Like he did it, he said something without saying something, and he was just like, hey, Natalia is gonna be a great representative for the sport. Like she's nothing but nice. And it's crazy, man. Like we get it. If you lose your title, you lose your title. Like it is what it is. But don't be bringing down other competitors with you whenever you lose. Just go back to work, get into there. And dude, I've seen nothing but great things from Natalia. And
Mm.
you can speculate all you want with physiques. Everyone's saying it about Derek. Everyone's saying it about Hottie. It's there's always a competitor every single year that they're saying they put oil in them or they're doing this or they're doing that. Whatever. Everyone's gonna hate on the champion, man. That's just how it is. Everyone's gunning for him, but you just don't have to say those things publicly. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I agree.
I
she's
agree.
she's truly
You
one of
see
the
that comment? You see that comment, boys? I was there 6 days ago when that happened. I stay updated on her shit. She likes my shit sometimes too.
oh my God. No, but yeah, she's awesome, dude. She's probably one of the most genetically gifted in bodybuilding, period.
Dude,
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
by a mile. All right, let's jump into it. We got a lot of men's physique to talk about, so I want Drew to jump right in and do his thing. This might be a
Oh man. Oh
it
man,
might
you're
be-
making me do a
I
breakdown
know,
on the
bro.
show I was in.
Bro, it's a conflict of interest, but at the same time, you weren't here the last couple of weeks. We miss it, bro. We miss it.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
All right. So you had number 6. He's also, I think he's still with Cuts. He's always a super respectful guy who always comes backstage, and he moved up quite a bit. Always been a super grainy, hard, you know, conditioned, crispy guy. Really dope back. I just think he gives up a lot of stage size just because he is a shorter guy. Especially in this lineup, there's just a lot of density in these guys, and you see it side by side. Just more narrow clavicles, and you can just see a lot of these guys in this lineup just have a wider clavicular frame and things like that. Oh, my charger just fell out. I got to plug it back in, or this thing's gonna die.
No, you're good, bro. But I know I agree. I was at the show live and in person. I had opportunity to see him up close, and this dude was peeled. Definitely one of the guys who peaked phenomenally at the show. You can tell if he was coached by Cuts that he was coached by Cuts. Great fullness overall. Again, good balance. I think he does need to bring a little bit more of a lower lats. He kind of looked a little uptight, but overall,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I think overall this guy looked absolutely fine.
Yeah,
And
no, I really like his look. He's very consistent too, and obviously you could kind of tell he's with Cuts because he has that grain. He has that. He peaks well every single show that he does. He peaks very well. We had number 5. I believe this was his pro debut. I talked to him briefly backstage. Ryan Black, very impressive. He was behind me in the lineup, so we actually had some comparisons on stage that he tagged me in. Really impressed with his look, especially being a newer guy on the scene. No, he has the men's physique shape. He has the muscle in the right areas. It's just a matter of fine tuning certain things, maybe a little bit of the posing because he's posing like a little guy as far as he's kind of holding back and not opening up. But that's normal for first time pros. A lot of the times, if they come out and they're just nailing their posing, it's very rare that we see that. And off the top of my head, I don't know too many guys that just went pro that know how to do that. But he held his own in a lineup with 3 Olympians, and leading into number 4. I mean, it was a big show as far as like the top 3, top 4, and him holding his own was really impressive. Just needs to keep filling out. Everything's there. Just he needs more of it.
Yeah.
This guy impressed me right here, number 4.
I'm telling you guys, I know we briefly spoke about this, but it's not at this specific show, but it was a San Antonio, was his pro debut. He might have been one of the best peak guys in the 2025 season. This dude does not have a lot of muscle, but the muscle that he did have was really showing. His conditioning was fucking gnarly. In his pro debut, placed second behind Alex Rogers. This physique is wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking wild, dude.
And he's tall. I didn't know he was that big when you look at some of the stuff. And you say, like, as far as the muscle, I just think there's certain dominant parts that he has muscle that enhance. It's kind of like the Fabrizio look, very dominant arms, wide shoulders, bubbly chest. Now, when he does turn around, you could just see the difference between the front being his money shot and then just the back being underdeveloped. As far as like even the conditioning, it's a little bit different from front to back. But being a taller guy, it's just filling in those gaps because he's the widest guy on stage.
I was going to say another thing with him is I think that because his arms are so long, it makes it look like he has more gaps than he actually does. Because look how long his arms actually come down to his side. If he actually had a little bit shorter arms, it would be very impressive. It would look like less gaps, but they're very long arms.
So with the longer arms, he's just going to have to keep filling out those lats and everywhere else. And even the delts, as dominant as they are, I mean, you could tell he's the biggest guy in the lineup as far as height. It's just he's losing on the overall pleasing balance, right?
Drew, let me ask you this question. Hart, I want you to weigh in on this too. Do you think that Ray is a guy who can qualify for the 2026 Olympia? The reason I say that, he's done 3 shows, first show being second place. This was that show. His second show, he actually placed outside of that top call out. Granted, that was when he had 8 Olympians in that show in Vegas. So granted, he wasn't going to get points for that anyway. And then he placed 4th in this lineup. Do you think that this is a guy who could be vying for those final spots closer to the end of the qualification window?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's got a head start, and a lot of these guys aren't necessarily going to have that. And if he keeps running this gauntlet, he gets a few more top 4s, possibly a top 3. I mean, the hitters are going to keep coming out, but because he's ahead of the curve here, it's just a matter of not burning out, because if he's the guy that keeps competing and starts to get worse, he's going to keep moving back. And then it's just like, you're chasing that dragon all season long. But as long as he kind of stays where he's at and he's dieting the correct way and he finds out what works for his body, absolutely. Absolutely.
Chris, you were shaking your head. What do you think?
I just think that we're having relevancy bias right now. And there's a lot of people that haven't hit the stage in a while that are Olympia caliber people, and you have all the Olympia caliber people that still have to requalify. Not everyone's going to win 2 shows, so you're going to have a lot of guys that are able to win 1 show. Like, I'll just give you an example. I'm not going to give him this as an example because he's here right now, but Ben's won 1 show, right? If he decides he doesn't want to compete until later next year, let's just say he's getting 2nd, 3rd place at Pittsburgh Pros, New York Pros, whatever that may be. You have guys like that are going to be pretty high up in the point standings if they're not getting that 2nd win or if they're doing these high-end shows. And I just think there's a lot of guys, okay? So I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket and say, hey, this guy can absolutely do it. Is it a possibility? Of course, everything's a possibility. But do I see it happening? I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I see he's a brink guy. Like, he's a guy who's right on the brink. Like, he can do it. I think it's going to really come down to, like, those final.
That's how I looked at it. Like, as far as the possibility. And he has the edge right now just because, as far as what I've seen, he's been getting better. But usually guys get better right before they start going down that slope. But I always give these guys the benefit of the doubt because I haven't seen them compete too often. What I saw in person, I mean, he's not the most balanced guy. There's still flaws in his physique, but everybody has a flaw in their physique. It just so happens that he is a taller guy. And even in this pose, like, he needs more lats from the front to just kind of balance out everything. But if he strategizes his shows and he comes in better each time, absolutely he can.
He's great. He looks really good. I think I texted you, Alex. I said, this guy in the number 4, everyone's sleeping on him.
Yep, you did.
And
yeah. Hart, before we wrap it up, what do you think about him?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. It's 50-50. everything you guys explained made sense to me. He's a freak for sure.
Oh,
Love to see more back. I don't know if that's doable. Drew, Chris, Alex, I don't know if he can actually
You can.
improve on the back while he kind of goes through the gauntlet. If he can, maybe. Chris, I'm with you, bro. There's so many guys that I can't even think of right now that are going to be coming and competing and that are just going to bring a really tough look. But very exciting to see this. This is my first time seeing him. I'm glad you pulled him up.
Yeah, bro.
Freaky, freaky.
Freaky dude. All right. And coming in at third place, we have our UK brother in Emil Walker. Drew, you want to keep going?
Yeah, so his posing definitely improved since the Olympia.
big time.
Really, really crazy core, bro. It just he has bricks, and when he walks out on stage, when he's by himself, very complete. You'd probably be like, "Oh, this guy's going to take the show." It's when he's next to other people is where he shows the gaps, and he's a guy that has the opposite problem as I do. He has a very, very strong back, and then the front, just as far as how dominant his abs are, it almost makes him look a little bit blocky in that aspect, especially when he's next to guys who have a more dominant V taper like me and Ben, especially in this show. Um, but yeah, he definitely has improved his posing. Small subtle changes. I kind of worked through his posing a little bit at the Olympia. We all kind of just hung out. I was able to. He's very receptive too. He's a guy that asks for the advice, and then you kind of give it to him, and he makes the adjustments because he wants to. He wants to improve, but definitely always going to be a hitter at these shows. He's doing Prague, I believe, this weekend. And that's a loaded up show too, but he's definitely going to be a guy that's always going to be a contender. Just a matter of who he's next to.
We had a conversation with him. We had a chance to go out to cheesecake with him after the show. He knows what he needs to do. He's one of the guys who's been doing it long enough, so he feels like he doesn't need to keep doing it sometimes. When he locks in and he really pushes himself, bro, I'm telling you, his conditioning and he nails the peak, his fullness. We've seen it before. He's a problem, man. He's a six-time pro show winner for a reason. Three-time, for a reason. All right. Now let's talk about this top two battle. Drew, I want to first start off with saying this was the best that I've ever seen you. And the fact that I had a chance to see you in person, I can confidently say that this show was very close. And I honestly, and this is not to throw any shade at you, this was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be going into the show. That's just the reality of it. Ben has proven himself to be a guy who is a top 10 guy, a guy who arguably should have been back in it this year. And you stood next to him and belonged. This wasn't something this was a third call out guy standing next to a guy who's been in the upper echelon and give him a run for his money. And it was impressive. Now, when it comes to the actual battle in itself, before we break down your physique, I think it simply came down to the back, just him having less weaknesses, but a lot of people I can see in the comments were even highlighting that the front shot, they gave it to you. Now, from your perspective, how did you see it? How did you feel going into the show? And why was this your best look to date?
So honestly, how I saw it was I had nothing to lose at the show. It's been many years, I'd say 2023, before I was next to a top guy to really challenge myself. Like the shows that I've been doing, you never know who's going to show up, but I'm next to guys that more or less are guys that never beat me before. So I've always been the guy going into some of the shows the past 2 years that I had everything to lose rather than the gain. So seeing Ben on this list, it was a perfect opportunity to really stand next to him and, push him as I believe that I did. He has a really dope physique. I have always appreciated Ben's physique, demeanor, professionalism, and it's always good competition. People could say what they want to say. And Alex, you know this as well as anybody else now seeing me in person, how much different my physique really is in person versus being on stage. Even these videos do not do it justice. I don't translate the best to stage or iPhone pictures and things like that. I don't know why that is. Some people do better than how they look in person, but for me, it's a lot different. And I hear that very often. But like I said, this is my best look ever. I think a lot of it came from the pressure from the Olympia was off. I was under the weight cap early. I was able to actually eat, and it was a 1 day peak. And Ariel's really good at 1 day peaks rather than 2 day peaks because there's a lot more time where you can improve, but there's more time to where things could go wrong as well. But I had no pressure on this one. I had nothing to lose. And I will say this was the most positive energy and feedback I've ever gotten from judges, fans, people online. even more so than when I've won shows. And that's because
Right.
I showed that I was really able to hang with a guy that's in that mix. And it really puts me in a position to where the only way I'm going to move up is by pushing or beating a guy that is at a higher top tier. And I consider Ben a top tier men's physique pro because he doesn't have a lot of gaps. When you asked me last week, like, where do you beat him? I was very realistic. It's conditioning and things like that. And the reason I said that was because I've beaten guys with better backs than me off of conditioning. We see it at Chicago Pro. We've seen that many other shows, especially at the Olympia. There's guys with better backs than me, but what separates me is my conditioning. So I played my strengths accordingly. And this was my best look. And when I got the pictures and the videos, it speaks for itself.
Yeah. Hart, what did you see?
Drew, I remember, where was it? Salt Lake City, Utah, 2020, 2021, coming off stage. Me and you had a conversation. No, I don't know if we had the conversation then, but what'd you get? What was your first massage placing? Like 12th, 14th, 11th? What was it?
Eighth.
It was 8th. Okay.
Yeah.
It
I
was
beat
8th.
Ben at that. It was the first time I beat Ben was at Wasatch.
Yeah, and you beat Ben
I'm
at
like,
that
that's
show.
why I'm like, you know what? People are beatable. But that was the only time that I beat them, and things could always change. And that's why I've always had that confidence in myself. But that's just reminded me of that.
Go ahead, Hart.
That's wild. What I was gonna say though is Drew, it's so cool to see you. I think when people think of your name now, they know you're coming for that overall. Like Drew could possibly take this. And I think a few years ago that wasn't the case. And that's solely because just what I've seen from you, Drew, is noticeable progress. Like every year, your entire physique pro, I see it, I see it, and I see it more. And when you stand next to guys like Ben and you challenge him, um, it's just crazy to see how much more you've improved, bro, and the Olympian that you are. Like, I don't think this Olympia placing defines how good you actually are.
Yeah. No.
I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah, I got it.
My connection's horrible. But yeah, bro, it's cool to see someone that I knew stick on this path, and it's just like, bro, you're battling with some of the best in the world at this point. You can give them a shot. Like when your name's in the lineup, I'm automatically thinking Drew can win. Like that wasn't the case a few years ago, and it's proud of you, bro. It's sick.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. It
Chris,
goes a long way.
Chris, I don't believe you were there in person. So, from your perspective, I know you're close to Ben. You're literally at his place right now.
No.
What did you see in his physique at this show specifically?
So I'll just take it back to 2017. So me and Drew competed on the same national stage many years, and I've seen him since the very beginning, and it is absolutely unreal. I mean, I've seen Ben from the very beginning too. I mean, I was at his 2019 Junior USA show whenever he went pro because Caitlin was doing that show back whenever she competed. So I was able to see both of these guys basically get their pro cards, and the amount of improvements they've made throughout the years, it is a big testimony to what hard work and consistency really is over the years. There's a lot of people that have come and go into this industry, and those are two guys that have stuck to it and are at the top of their games. Now, I obviously saw Drew at the Olympia. I thought it was an amazing package, but seeing this from the pictures and the videos, I honestly think he blew away his Olympia package. I think this was absolutely hands down his best package I have ever seen. I looked at the videos and I was like, he's actually pushing Ben. I was like, this is very, very close. The only differences that I saw was what everyone sees. I mean, Ben has very few gaps, if any. I don't think actually really is any. His back is just very full. He's good enough conditioned at this show to mirror Drew's conditioning. Now, I do believe Drew was, I mean, he was more conditioned than Ben was, but there was just a level of balance to Ben's physique that was just a little bit overpowering for Drew. Now, in saying that, I think this is the most complete physique Drew brought. I think that from front to back, there wasn't that big of a difference. Now, obviously, Drew's structure on his back, there's nothing that he's going to be able to change from his back structure. It is what it is. That's what you're born with. But him filling out that structure year after year, you're starting to see what that's becoming. And it's going to become a true contender here in a year or two. So Drew, I'm proud of your dude. I'm proud of this physique. This is freaking amazing. Best physique you've ever brought to the stage, and you're right with everything that you said. You did push it. It was a very close battle, and props to you, man. It was cool to see.
Yeah,
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it,
bro.
bro.
What's really impressed me when I saw you in person, we'll move on here in a minute, but bro, seeing your shape, your taper, like the way that you manipulated your waistline and your posing, bro, you look so wide up top and your waist looked non-existent. It was really impressive. Like I always said that you had an underrated structure or whatever, however you want to call that, bro. When you hit your front shot and I saw that, I was like, wow. It was the most impressive thing. I don't think that is what's picked up on photos more than it is anything else. Like that's
Mm,
why to me your front shot is so pretty because it's coming down to a small ass. Look at this, dude. It literally goes out just like a Dorito. There's right. There's no like odd divots. Sometimes you'll see people's go straight up, wrap around. No, it's just pretty, right? So exaggerated, and bro, you looked phenomenal. And again, you said it perfectly when it comes to Ben. Ben wasn't on or he wasn't off. I don't think this was the best version of him, but it definitely wasn't the worst version of him. Ben,
I was gonna say, your Drew's tan was on point too. If you
yeah.
look at the tans of the guys, Drew's was very, very on point.
Dude, you nail your
That
tan
matters.
every time, bro. Every time. Like, what do you do? Every
I
time.
just use my eyes and I'm like, if I need more, I need more because you could get 3 coats with one tanning service and then you might need 4 or 5 with the other one. It's just a matter of what one you get. And this was hot spot and they always take care of me. So if I needed more, I just told Victoria and she did it. And I'm going to give a shout out to her too. Like, they're there for the athletes rather than just, oh, I'm going to charge you extra for this extra coat, so I kind of look at it in the right lighting and I could kind of just mimic where I've been in the past versus where I'm at now. And obviously Maria will tell me, she'll be like, listen, you got to be darker. And how it contrasts with certain short colors. I've been wearing lighter shorts and, some things that pop a little bit more with a black waistband. So I always have a black waistband now because it puts things in perspective when I am dark. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of going off the eye.
But again, congratulations to Ben. He looked great. Now he has I think he's the leader right now in points.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's a good thing. He's one of those guys, he will 100% get a second win. Like he shows up to a show, he's like the favorite. So he's going to fall off the list, giving a lot of other guys opportunities too. So it's going to be really funny when it gets close to the end because some people might end up winning a show and then they're off the list now. And then a random person might be able to jump. All right. We had our boy Aaron Banks take the stage this
Is
weekend.
he supposed to be on?
No, he's flying right now to Canada.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he was going to be on. He'll be on not
Kind of get people like a little bit of an idea that he's coming back.
no, I know. He'll be on. So I think I don't want to jump the gun. We have Nick next week, and then we have Aaron, and then we have hers. So
Okay, sweet,
fingers crossed there.
sweet.
Okay. So Hart, you covered this show. What did you see? Was there anything that stood out to you? Aaron wears some new shorts. Aaron got some new teeth. He got new diamonds in his mouth. What'd you see?
yeah, this wasn't I don't think it was the hardest show for Aaron to win. I think this is a show we all expect Aaron to win, and he did that. And I think he did that can you guys hear me? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, my connection
Yeah, I can hear
sucks.
it. You go, bro.
I think he just did that at, 95% look. Definitely not his best look. But he doesn't need to bring his best. Again, he's one of those guys that can come in 95% and still win these shows. Ismail Martinez, man. Oh, what I don't know what goes on with the core, the softness, or what's happening to
I
him, but it
know.
kills me because I feel like he's so talented. Briefly, the guy on the far left, I felt like he brought the best peak. I just saw the most pop from his physique. You guys will see him when he turns around. And then Gochez, same thing with Ismail. It's just they can't hit their peaks, and I don't know what's happening, man. Are they not in shape? Why are they flat? It was kind of sorry from those guys.
It's so funny you said this, bro, because I've always said that Juan Gochez probably has one of the most potentials in men's physique.
Dude,
He doesn't really have anything that's missing. Full chest, great back, wide lats, generally pretty front shot. Again, great structure. He just can't come in shape. I mean, like,
Hey, some people are genetically that way, man. There's some physiques that you'll see throughout bodybuilding history that they're amazing. They have amazing potential or whatever that may be, but it's either the skin they have or the genetics that they have that they can't get that peeled look. I mean, this is a terrible example, but like Rolly Winkler, certain shows, like he wasn't able to get down and he was always one of the most impressive dudes on stage, but he was never right there. There's a couple guys on the open scene that are the same way. I mean, Nexzilla, look at Nexzilla, dude. If that dude came and peeled and he had detail, you'd be like, dang, this guy's going to win the Olympia every year. But some people don't have it. And at this point, I'm seeing Juan do all these shows and it's making me question, is he able to do it? Like, is there actually a world that he's able to get that peeled to rival with the top 15, you know? And I don't see it. I don't see it, but
What? Yeah, you're not wrong because, like, again, it's sample size, right? He gave us a massive
yeah.
sample size, and we've seen the same thing over and over and over. I want to see him do it. You know what I mean? Like, I want to
Mhm.
see what this physique looks like, fucking inside out peeled. That's what I want, and I know he has a great coach. So I know his coach is, generally a guy who's known for getting people conditioned. Then Chris, let me ask you, what's his name again? Second place,
Ismail.
Ismail.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. It's-
then what do you think the issue is with him? Because we have seen him get peeled before. We have seen his midsection come in separated as can be. But
Weight cap.
that's what I thought.
What was
Yeah.
it?
Weight
Weight
cap.
cap.
Drew, explain it real quick.
So the weight cap. So when you're trying to get to, I don't know his weight cap. This is just me kind of throwing out what I think because I've seen him better even years ago when he was first on the scene in men's physique, just with how full he was, with how peeled he is, because he was always known for his conditioning and fullness. We were starting to see the back kind of lag, and he has that flat look. And with his height and how big he is, he's holding a lot of size,
How
being, I
old is
would
he
say,
now?
the shortest guy on stage right here.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not sure, but he's been doing this for a while, and I just seen him,
Yeah.
a lot fuller and leaner. But with his weight cap, whatever it may be, he's probably sucking down so much that filling out, it's just going to take more time than just a day or 2 days. It's going to take him, it
He's
might
late
take him
30s,
3 or 4 days.
late
Yeah.
30s probably
He's
now.
probably
I would guess maybe mid 30s.
mid to late
Okay.
30s.
Okay.
Chris, what do you see in Aaron's physique this week and compare it to the Olympia?
Um, I thought that his midsection was a little bit flatter than it was at the Olympia. I feel like he had a little bit of distension, whether that could have been from the amount of food he was using to carb up or whatever. I did notice in the show that he had an ab cramp. Did any of you guys see that?
Yeah, I
No.
saw it
Um,
on Heart
yeah,
posted it. Yeah.
yeah, Hart. I think it was Hart's. I saw it on his ab cramped up hard during one of the lineups.
I
But
didn't
no, I
see
think
that.
I honestly think this was better than his Olympia package. I think it was a more better all around balanced physique. I thought his core was a little bit more in. From these pictures and videos, obviously I can't see it in person. But is it Aaron's best? No. But like we always say, he's going to show up and he can show up like this and he's going to win a show. I think his mind is focused on next year's Olympia. I talked to him this week, and I think that that's what he's gunning for in his head. And I think these are just wins to lock up some momentum going forward.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, like you said, wasn't the best version of Aaron, but Aaron's physique can win almost any show at almost 80%.
Yeah.
Now, I would love to see Aaron run it back this year at Pittsburgh, do one of the New York shows. I don't know if he will. I don't know if you feel like he has anything.
I wouldn't do it. I would rest your body. If I was him, so as you guys know, get a little personal here. He was focused on getting engaged to his girl. He started his prep late at 12, 11 weeks out, which I think I even texted you saying I think it's going to be a little bit late and you're going to have to do one of those shotgun preps and get down. I think that if he takes another 4 weeks this time around, 4 weeks extra, I think he's in a lot better place in his life right now. He got that all out of his way. He's going to have a lot less stress. If he's not doing these random shows throughout the year and he actually focuses on that, I think that you're going to see I think he could bring in his best physique ever if he does that. And if I'm talking to him straight up, like if he's listening to this, that's what I would do.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I feel like detail is the only thing that he's missing. You
Yep.
know what I mean? It's just like, and I think sometimes when you run your body into the ground or you're doing it, whatever, right? Like a lot of times that detail, you just need time off, bro. Time off,
Exactly.
just
Exactly.
come off drugs,
Everything.
enjoy life for a second mentally, all of it, bro. I'm telling you, I can't stress how much mental has in terms of the physical. Like if you are mentally in a bad place, your body, Drew Island.
We talked about it in person a little bit outside in that morning, and I was asking Alex, like, hey, how do you feel? Like, just no cameras, no nothing, just sitting there chatting, being honest with each other. And there's a lot of things that I'm learning because I'm deep in prep, and sometimes I struggle a lot. And I'm just like, dude, how do you feel? And I know it was hard for you at first, but you even said like you don't even miss prep right now. You're just having this reset and never felt better. Your skin, your hair, everything is healthy. You're adapting pretty well, if not better than ever. And it gives you a lot to look forward to because when you do pull that trigger, you're just in a better position than you've ever been in. Your body's going to be receptive and you just have a good mindset that's fresh.
Bro, first of all, that was the first time somebody in a long time just asked me, bro, like, how are you feeling? And
Mhm.
so I appreciate that because sitting out back, just talking, guys being guys, it was needed. So you being here, I know you thanked me for coming, but thank you also, bro. It was a breath of fresh air. But bro, you hit the nail on the head. I can't tell you how much, and this isn't. I've done a lot of extremes in my life, right? When it comes to this sport, and it's allowed me to raise to ranks pretty high. Being an Olympian, my second year as a pro speaks volumes. Being ranked in the Olympia the second year, it speaks volumes. But that came with a cost. So pulling back, and I say this because I cannot stress this enough. If you're in the midst of pushing your body to extremes, just make sure that you also level that out with taking rest and giving your body a break to the extreme as well. I'm telling you guys, take it from somebody who has rode highs throughout the sport, but also rode crashes throughout the sport as well. I'm telling you guys, you so much more mental than it is than you can ever imagine. All right, let's jump into this real quick. This show might just be one of the most competitive shows of
Yeah.
the year. This show is absolutely wild. And it's funny because like a novice men's physique guy might not really even know who majority of these people are, or at least some of these people are, but I wanted to look at the list here. All right, so we have make sure I'm not missing anybody. So call out names if I ended up doing so. But Alessandro Cavanolo, a three-time Olympian. Ricardo Carochi, I think he's a six-time Olympian. Jeffrey Darko, he's a one or a two-time Olympian. Mauro Fiallo, this
Top
motherfucker,
Yep.
15
he's coming
Olympian.
for blood, bro. He's
Yep.
coming for blood. He's currently what, 12th in the world or something like
These
that?
boys are coming out now because that point system.
Hell yeah.
And I love to see this because it gives us even more to cover.
Yep.
If he shows up like he did at the Olympia, it's a wrap.
He's gonna be better, bro.
If he shows up when he showed up at the Olympics, it's over for everybody. Not even
He's
close.
on a high right now. He's on a high right now. So you know what that feels like. Get a small dopamine release. He's
Your
got nothing to
body.
lose. He's on a high, bro.
Yeah. All right. Then we got Abasai Pierre, a guy just coming off the second place finish in his first show in the 2025
You got
season.
Miroslav in there too, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
Miroslav.
yeah, I missed him. Oh my God. We got Miroslav in here. He's a third call out.
He'll
Dubai
be
Pro
top three.
champ.
Yep. We got Omar Suleiman. He's with Cuts and he's
Mhm.
an Olympian. Emil Walker,
Emil.
just talked about him, six-time pro show winner, three-time Olympian. We got fucking hella Olympians in this show. Hella Olympians in this show.
That's the first call out right there.
That all yep, all that is the first. This is an eight-person first call out of all Olympians.
Yeah.
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 That's wild.
Easily.
All right.
Oh,
So there's a few questions
Yeah.
just looking at this list. First, who do you have winning? And then I want to ask you about somebody specific because I'm curious to know what you guys think. Okay, but who do you guys have taking the show? To me, it's between two people.
I'm gonna play it safe.
I know who that is, Alex.
I'm gonna go. Oh, go ahead, Art.
No, Alex either has Mauro, and the second one I'm gonna say is Ibizai.
Good.
I don't have either.
Yep. Who you got, Chris?
Well, do we have any recents of Abasai?
You just competed not that long ago.
Yeah, but what's he looking like now? I know he just competed, but if he's more tighter, I would agree with you on that one. I'm gonna have yeah, I'll have Abasai in first, and I'll take Miroslav second, and then Mauro.
Wait. You might have missed something. I want to make sure that you didn't miss somebody. Say those words
No,
again.
I said what I said.
All
I
right, go
said
ahead.
Abasai one, I said Miroslav second, and I have Mauro third.
Wow.
curveball.
Curveball.
Yeah.
All right, Drew.
Mauro and Miroslav 1 and 2.
Oh shit. Okay.
I feel like Miroslav just didn't have his correct peak at the O. And just like a lot of these other guys I'm seeing that are just coming off of the O, the stress and the pressure is gone. Because when you're at the O, man, there's so many people and you're just looking for that expectation of being a first, second call out, right? You want to move up from the previous years. But after that, it's almost like these guys are strategically picking shows and they're so relaxed and chill that the physique is adapting twice as good. So you can't go off the placings from the O.
So
You're right.
So your logic is why I had actually Mauro falling a little bit back because one, we talked about this last week on the podcast. He has been inconsistent. Well, structure and he has been inconsistent. Miroslav has been very consistent and his structure is very solid. Now I understand he doesn't have the strongest back, but if we're talking about a full balanced physique, He's always up there, man, and he's always consistent. So that's the only reason why I had put him ahead of him. I think if Morrow brought what he brought to Olympia, I would put him in first. I think that's the first place physique. But I think that we might see a little regression. But like I said, we're always wrong, so who knows?
I didn't say who was 1 and 2. I just said that's the top 2.
Okay.
Well, I will
But
go.
I'm gonna go with Morrow for 1 though, as you guys probably assumed, and I got Miroslav second. And you know what? I like both of these guys. Morrow's been one of my favorite physiques over the years. With like we talked about the last podcast, I always have a sweet spot for the grainy, crisp conditioning because it's an immediate respect because I know how hard it is to get to that point. And seeing
Did you
him
see
have
his
that,
transformation? Did you see that
yes,
transformation he posted? That was
yes,
insane.
I
Morrow's,
know, man.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. I was like,
bro,
what?
that shit was
Mhm.
wild, bro.
Dude's crazy, man. I
Was that
love
a
to
year
see it.
transformation? Was that a year?
Yeah, it was last year's Olympia. It was 2024's Olympia.
Fucking
So that should be like a lesson to most of these other guys. Look at how much, even if you don't have the best
no
structure,
fucking
even if you
way.
don't have the best structure, look,
How the
you
hell
know what
did
I'm
he make the
saying?
Olympia looking like this?
Yeah, that
Well,
looks like it would.
because he hit his peak, like Chris said earlier, the inconsistencies. You know, we've seen him at really good shows, place bad, and then we've seen him at like kind of like the lower shows that he places good, and he just
Hey,
has a
but hold
completely
on.
different look.
But hold on. Look at that jawline, bro. He grew.
Bro, why was I just thinking that?
No.
Holy shit.
Why was I just thinking that, bro?
Come on. He grew a little, right?
I was just thinking that,
Damn.
bro. I
The
was,
calves grew, bro.
yo, his calves.
He turned to a Giga Chad quick, dude.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's so funny, bro. I was just looking at that the second you said that, bro.
Look at how much better the structure is. Even if he lags on the structure a little bit, look at how much the structure improved just because he added the sides to the right areas.
100%.
It's
100%.
wild, bro.
Let
You
me
could say
ask
you
you
have
guys,
terrible genetics, but until you fill out your frame like that, you will never understand your true
Mm.
potential.
Yeah, you don't know until you try either.
No.
guys, this is actually technically our teammate. What do you guys think of his physique and where can he place?
He's going to be in the first call out.
He'll be in for, but the posing will hurt him.
He needs to find a sweet spot for the back a little bit more. And he has the physique that's freaky, right? But the balance is just when you look at this lineup, there's a lot of balanced guys, right? No matter how much conditioning Jeffrey Darko has or how much muscle he has in the right areas. I think there's certain parts of his physique to where he has muscle in the wrong areas.
Yeah.
It's just he has that caricature look, and it's going to be exposed next to the guys that are a little bit more balanced. And you saw it with me and Ben. Like Ben can expose me based on what I lag and what he has to make his physique look even more complete. And that's kind of the same effect that I think some of these guys are going to have over Jeffrey.
And Drew, onto your point here. So as you see him posing, right, he's dropping his chest down, which is making his traps
It
look
flexed
bigger,
the abs,
and his
yes.
shoulders look smaller. So that's going to make you look even more unproportionate to what your strengths are anyway. So if he fixes his posing, he could be very dominant. I mean, look at that waist, man. It's tiny. That's a
wild,
crazy
yeah.
back, but it's these little tweaks that'll take him from like third, fourth place in this lineup to like ninth.
Yeah.
Who's going to talk to him? Because I feel like these have been the same tweaks for a few years now. And I feel like if he adjusted that, his whole world could change.
That's another thing. If he was going to tweak it, he would have already.
Yeah.
So I kind of look at like those little things like that. Some guys just stick to what they like to do rather than what they should do in order to move up. And that to me just kind of shows, are you really willing to move up? Because I've been told to change my posing routine for years, and I finally did. I don't know if you guys noticed the new moves I was doing in there. But you don't got to change it to where you're showing weak points. I just added in a few poses from the front shot that actually make my strengths even stronger. So, small things like that. You just got to be willing to try something new, without kind of having it hurt you more.
Yeah. This is like, he has such a crazy physique. I would hate to just see it not come together because of presentation. You know what I mean? I would
put all that work into it to just not present it in the way that it should be.
You said he's with Cuts now?
He's been with Cuts, bro. He's been with
Cuts will probably say something to him.
Bro, Cuts has to say like that. There's no way Cut. I
just know from my experience because he changed my posing the night before. He was like, no, scratch that. And he changed. And I know many people that have, obviously been coached by him, and he does it with everyone. So he's got to say something. I know he is.
Yeah. Guys, let me ask you something before we get out of here. To me, I thought this question was almost simple, but when I posted about it, I feel like the comments were split pretty evenly between everybody. And I don't fully understand. I know we talked about this. Drew just spoke about it. Chris, you spoke about it too. Hart, I need to get your honest opinion on this. Who's the greatest men's physique athlete of all time?
You know, bro, I hate to do this, but what do you mean by great?
No, you need to ask that because I think sometimes people are.
Yes, it needs to be simplified because you could say who has the most Olympias, that's greatest of all time versus the resume.
Yeah, see,
Yeah, there's
Drew,
categories as to what equals the greatest of all time. That's why it becomes so subjective.
I don't think the greatest of all time has to do with anything that is not stage related. So if it's like he
Impact.
in
Yeah.
most impact, that's cool. I respect that. That will go down when people talk about you. But when it talks about the greatest of what you've done on stage, you can obviously, this is where the what's the word I'm looking for? The biasness comes in where you can say one error is better than the other error. That's fine. You can argue that. That's where the people's viewpoints are going to change. But out of Jeremy Buendia, Brandon Hendrickson, and Ryan Terry, who do you see as the greatest when it comes to more of what they've done on stage?
Let me actually simplify it a little more. Who's been the most dominant of all of those when they've been on stage?
My
Because I think
honest,
that would go into the greatest because it comes down to dominance.
Because I think Jeremy was dominant when he ran his four, but I wouldn't have Jeremy in.
But he was only doing the Olympia shows, like dominant overall in their
Okay,
career.
okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Okay, then, and that's to me,
You got to add Andre to that list too.
yeah, but
You just named Olympians. Like you got, if you're going to talk about the greatest of all time and accomplishments, and you said on stage, Dre is up there and has more titles than all of them.
Dre's fifth.
So he should be included.
Dre's fifth in my list, but he's not in the conversation to break into the top three. The top three
it's
is
got to
a
be B.
category of their own.
It's got to be B. It's got to be B.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
As
Who
of right,
who
as of
who
right
who
now,
has had out of all of those guys that you have in the top three, who has brought the best physique to the stage? Out of all their wins, who is the best physique on stage?
Oh,
but you
boy.
just you're
No, no, no.
making
Answer my question. No,
no,
don't
but
beat around the bush.
you're going back to what Alex said has done on stage in their career. Now you're saying it like if they all had their best, and who is the best out of the bunch?
Hey, Brandon has competed what? He competed 3 years ago. Ryan beat him. He competed this year. He beat him. And Ryan beat every single person, every single winner on the stage this year.
But Brandon's also beat Ryan more times than Ryan's beat Brandon. So
That's fine, but we're
we could
talking
have an
about now.
argument for everything.
The hardest that men's physique has ever been is right now, and he's winning right now, and he's going to continue to win next year and the year after, most likely.
But if you look at 2017, 2018, 2019, those times were the hardest it's ever been at those times.
I understand.
2024, Jeremy and Brandon were
It's
there.
always going to
2024.
evolve.
Okay, Ryan has 3 Olympia wins, and he has presented the best men's physique package that has ever graced the Olympia stage.
Okay, but if Ryan Terry has the physique that he did now and it was under the criteria in 2018 where Brandon brought the best physique, that I thought he wouldn't beat Brandon because the criteria has been different. It's like the Michael Jordan LeBron conversation, who would beat who in 2 different eras. So it comes down to what you have done on stage in your career.
Drew, let me ask you, who do you think would win? And I hate using hypotheticals, but if they're both absolutely 100% on that day.
Under today's criteria, it would be
Under-
Ryan. That's why he did.
But okay.
But if it was under the 2018 criteria when Brandon won, it would be Brandon still.
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Like you can't shift the goalpost when there was 2 different eras.
Was Ryan?
That's why it can't take away from Brandon when he won because he beat Ryan Terry all them years when Brandon had his reign. So it's like kind of shifting it and then going back. It's like, okay, I got a 2018 Lambo brand new in 2018, but the 2024 Lambo is going to smoke the 2018 Lambo because obviously it's brand new. So you're comparing it to this one versus that one. I always do Lamborghini references, but that's kind of how I look at it. Of course, the newer one's always going to be better.
Brandon's at his all-time best right now.
Hey, you're about to have Ben jump in here in a second.
You can tell. No.
Hey, he's yelling at me on the other. Hold on, he's coming. He's coming. Hold on. You're about to get a. Hold on. Phone a friend.
Here we go. I like the
He
glass.
was listening the whole time, just collecting ammo.
Bro,
Let's hear it, Ben.
Ryan Terry is, without a doubt, the greatest of all time in men's physique. Ryan Terry and Brandon both have 3 Olympia titles. Terry's got an Arnold, Ohio. Brandon's got an Arnold, Ohio. Terry's got the Arnold, UK. Brandon doesn't have one. Terry's got a New York. He's got a Pittsburgh. Brandon doesn't have a Pittsburgh or New York.
Oh, he doesn't?
Brandon's got New York.
No, he doesn't. You're making up stuff.
I
He won
did
it
look
this
at it,
year,
someone
bro.
Let me keep
He
going.
won it this year, bro.
Oh, you're right. He did beat Evan there. You're right. Thank you. I stand corrected. Cool. Ryan Terry beat the greatest men's physique field that we ever had on stage. He beat every Olympia champion except for Ray. Ryan Terry has beaten Brandon Hendrickson at Brandon Hendrickson's all-time best. And you're going to sit here and tell me that even though Brandon has lost to Ryan now, the last 2 Olympias that he's done, Brandon's better. But you can also look and see that Ryan Terry just put the greatest package on stage that we've ever seen. Make it make sense.
So with today's era and
Stop
everything
talking
going on
about
now, I
errors,
agree.
because
I
stop
agree
talking
with
about
you.
errors as if something changed. When Brandon Hendrickson was
Dude, we
winning,
got a weight cap. Things have changed throughout the
no,
whole
bro,
evolution of men's physique.
stop it.
Different
When you're
looks are
talking
being
about
rewarded.
different eras, Brandon, his last Olympia win was what, 2021?
The original conversation was
Ryan
who
Terry,
did more on
when
stage.
Brandon was winning, it was because he was so much more developed than everyone else, and everyone else had to catch up. Ryan Terry caught up and passed him. Is Brandon better now, or was he better in 2021? This is the best Brandon that we've ever seen this year at the Olympia.
Do you think so? I don't think this was the best.
Absolutely. His back has never looked the way it did at this year's Olympia. It was the best he's ever looked.
That's true.
With the same polished front pose that he's always had. This was the best Brandon that we've ever seen on stage. And Ryan Terry beat him easily. Brandon was in 3rd, not 2nd. So what the fuck are we actually talking about?
Well, we were talking about the original question, the greatest all time, based on
It's
what
Ryan
we did
Terry.
on stage, what we have done on stage. If you want to add all the accolades,
What else would
Brandon
you
still
fucking
has more
be basing it
accolades.
on? Of course, it's what you've done on stage.
Yes, he was taking out, like, you're comparing it to how they have looked now altogether. Ryan's all-time best, Brandon's all-time best.
I mean, Ryan Terry just won 3 straight and beat the fucking toughest men's physique lineups that we've seen.
Like I said, Brandon has 3 titles, and they're not all in the same, but it doesn't take away that Brandon has 3 and Ryan has 3.
It doesn't
We're
take
talking
that
about
away,
the
but which
stats
one's
of
more
what it.
impressive? Go off the eye test. What's more impressive?
I would say Ryan's more impressive, but this isn't a question about what's more impressive of what they've done. It's about
Okay,
the
so
stats
Drew,
of what they
you're
have
saying
achieved
they
on
both
stage.
got 3. Okay, cool. They both got 3. And then you say, okay, Ryan has more of the elite titles. And then you say Ryan has more impressive wins. And you say Ryan just looks better and Ryan's more complete. Why is it
When
that
you
hard for
add-
you to?
when
Hey,
you
listen,
add
I'm
that
gonna
to
say
it-
this. Hey, Drew, you're biased. You're from Chicago. Brandon's from Chicago.
I'm
You're
answering
biased,
the-
bro.
no, I'm
So
answering
you're
the
not
question
gonna
that
answer the
Toplin
question
asked.
and be honest about it because that's your boy. You don't want to say that someone else is better than your guy. You're speaking from a
That's not
biased
true.
perspective.
That's not true.
Look, mic
Hold on.
drop. Come back in. Come back in.
Hold up.
Can I address this before you mic drop?
Go
Hey,
ahead.
he's listening.
He's listening. He's listening.
You can
No,
go.
so when we first started this whole conversation, it was not what you've done on stage, not what, as far as in the moment, in the eras, it was regardless of what you have achieved and all of that outside of the bodybuilding and awards and all that, it was based on just the stats. Brandon has higher stats than Ryan has. If you add it all together,
13.
Brandon has higher stats than Ryan has. That's just the fact.
Damn.
Brandon has, hold on. Brandon has 13 pro wins. He has 3, and in those 13 pro wins, 3 Olympia titles. He has 1 Arnold Classic. Ryan Terry has 3 Olympia titles. He has a total of 11 pro wins and 1 Arnold Classic title in the UK and 1 in the Ohio.
And at Pittsburgh and in New York.
And
This is going to be the exact same conversation that people were having with the whole Brady Montana thing. Whenever Brady had 3 or 4 Super Bowl wins, and everyone's like, "Oh, I don't know. This Montana never lost." Like you know what I'm saying? They had all these arguments, right? And then all of a
No,
sudden,
but it's how you phrase it though. Now, if you're asking who is the most dominant champion, right?
hold on.
Ryan
And
Terry.
What
3 in a
I'm
row.
saying, but what I'm saying is, what's going to happen is next year, whenever he wins his 4th one, this isn't even going to be a debate anymore.
So, okay, let me ask you this.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Do you
But we're
think
talking
But
about
hey,
right
but
now
hold on. But what
before
I'm
that's
saying
true?
is,
That's true.
what
It's true. It's still a debate now. And granted, I agree. I think Ryan Terry is the greatest in my eyes, but I get the debate, especially for Brandon, 100%. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. The only people who are saying Jeremy are just because they're thinking of the titles. If that was the case, then Mark Anthony would be in the greatest in the conversation, or at least
yeah.
in the top five, but he's not, respectfully.
I'm just saying it's kind of that exact same thing as we're at that point now where people were like, okay, it's tied. Like we're seeing that switch in who we think the best is, and the next time Ryan gets another win or whatever that may be, it's going to be a wrap.
It's
You know what I'm
flipped.
saying?
But okay,
Yeah.
and what if Brandon runs it? What if Brandon
There.
gets what if Brandon gets two regular season show wins and they're moderate shows or one big
But
show?
then, like, let's just say he shows up to Olympia, gets third again. I mean, I don't think it matters at that point. I mean, Brian can show up to any show, and he could literally do every show this year and win every show. You know, that's kind of not a conversation we need to have because Ryan could have done more shows and won more shows. He just sat out most of the time. He was
Yeah,
waiting for the Olympia.
my question, I asked that question was because I asked, is it as close as Brandon just needs to do maybe one or two more shows and he can actually jump in from the greatest, or no? Let's say,
No, no, he would have to win another Olympia.
okay, so at this point, it's like almost trading
Or
off.
like an Arnold. Actually beat Ryan. Yeah, you would have to actually beat. Yeah, he makes a good point. You'd have to actually beat Ryan Terry again. Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, then let me ask the same question or a similar question. Going off that, would you take the field or Ryan Terry to get five titles and set the record?
wait, say that again. The field?
The
I
field.
take the field.
Okay, that's a betting term. A field
I'll
is
take the field.
everybody else, or would you take that one person? So would you
I
take
take the field.
Really?
Yes. I say next year he has it. And then the fifth year, he will lose it.
Hart, what do you think?
Ooh, man, that's a great question. I mean, who knows, man? I'm thinking about guys who could beat him next year. I'm thinking about Brandon. I'm thinking about Aaron. I'm thinking about these Ali Bilal. Yeah, I could see Terry getting it one more year, and then I think something crazy is gonna happen.
There's only
I
one
like
guy
that.
on the circuit that could beat him next year, and that's Aaron Banks.
I agree.
What about
You know what? I I I think I agree with you,
What would Aaron have to do to beat Ryan Terry?
bro. He needs to.
2022 Boston or
Yep.
um his one where he got second place. If he comes in with a shredded package, he gets his gut health in order where he doesn't have that distension right before the show where it seems like it's almost like a digestion issue. It's not his abdomen isn't blown out because of anything he's done. It's literally from food right now. And if he gets it, if he has that relaxation time and he gets it in order and he comes in with a flat stomach with his blocky abs that he has great freaking detailed abs, and he comes in with that full chest, full shoulders. He has detailed back. That is the only person with that structure that will be able to top Ryan Terry right now.
Wow. I agree. I think Aaron Banks is the highest ceiling in men's physique. So if he reaches the ceiling, it doesn't make sense that he can't beat him. So you're not wrong. I just, again, based off of the recency of what we've seen, I just it's almost like he's an afterthought to some people's mind when it comes to the contention
He's
of it.
not.
But you're right. I mean, if he does what he needs to do in this offseason, kind of almost resets his body a little bit, it could
Hey,
be.
and Alex, to your point, there's been many guys that have regressed. We can talk about Ryan Terry getting what, seventh at the Olympia, and now he's won it 3 times in a row. Okay, so he was getting a bad place back in the day. He went from a good place to bad place. We've seen many guys jump places like that. They've regressed and they came back into the scene and placed higher. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. But I think that you give it the reason why I said the 2 year thing is think if you give it 2 years for people to grow into the division and get that balance that's needed to beat Ryan, it's not going to take 1 year. It's going to take some of these guys 2 years, and that's whenever we're going to see it.
That's fair. Okay, let me ask. I'm gonna start throwing some random questions out here because I know we got to jump, but I got so many things coming in my mind right now. Emmanuel Hunter, what are the odds that he breaks back into the top five?
Very high.
You said high?
Very high. Just
Okay.
think he missed a peak.
Chris, would you, if you were a betting man, would you put your money on the pass line or would you put it on the don't pass?
Don't.
Really?
I think because we have the Chinese guy that's freaking impeccable.
Oh,
We have Ali that's probably not going to be beaten. You have Ryan Terry that's probably not going to be beaten. You have Aaron Banks in there as well. That structure is going to beat him on that. I mean, I just named 4 people right there. So
Andre.
you would have him, you would have to have him in the fifth. And then you're going to have 30, 40 other athletes that are going to get better. And I'm not saying he's not going to get better. He can get better, but
He has room.
I just don't see with the drop that he had this year, it happening again, like him breaking into that.
Yeah.
But that's going against what I just said. I mean, like I said, guys drop back and come back. I mean, anything's possible. I don't know.
He could jump. Listen, we had a guy in Edvin who placed fifth place and then fell back to 11th place at the Olympia one year.
Exactly.
Literally the next year comes back up to fifth place. I mean,
Wasn't Ali like sixth and
yeah, seventh.
22, 23? Yeah, he moved back and then he came back up. So I mean, and then there's always guys that can move in. I'd even put Ben in that,
Yes,
you know,
100%.
in that realm of moving in or taking that big jump, because I mean, there's so many guys that improved so quickly. And if you look over the years, I mean, who had Morrow top 15? You know, if somebody made that transformation like him on a prettier structure and frame, you look at how much they could jump as well.
Yeah.
It's all what ifs, man. We got so long until this happens. And whenever you give people, I mean, E-Man ran the freaking gauntlet for how long, man? He was running, and eventually your body's not going to respond the way it needs to. And
you know what?
I think that was the case.
This year in 2026 is gonna change so much for men's physique because this running is gonna cause, I'm telling you, it's gonna cause people mentally to fail and fall out of love with it. You're gonna see people's physiques give out on them. You're gonna see health concerns skyrocket more through the roof. I'm telling you guys, 2026 is gonna be different. I don't want to just say the negatives because there's gonna be a lot of positives, and more specifically, us having the opportunity to
Hey,
about it.
I'm gonna give you if I was I'm not even going to say newer pro, but a decent pro that has won a show or maybe is getting in the top 3 or 4. What I would do is I would take this whole year, I'd grow, work on my weak spots and everything, not even compete. I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to give this year as a wash. I'm going to come back in 2027 with a bang because I know that if I do that, I'm going to be able to win 2 shows. If you don't think you're going to be able to win 2 shows, I mean, me, I'm not going to try, but
All right. Before we get out of here, Drew, what's your plan? You just got done placing second at Hurricane.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm in a good spot to where, you know, it's more data that's been collected, obviously after the Olympia. And just, you know, for me, it's the expectation is just being in front of other top guys. And, you know, you don't really know who's doing these shows unless they announce them. It could be last second. It could be, you know, you might be the only one, but anything could happen. But I want to get in front of a lot of these top guys. And, you know, it really gets me out there a little bit more. And like I said, the only way I'm going to move up is by beating top tier guys. But, you know, I'm not done. I live in South Jersey. Well, no, they got a new show out here in East Coast called the East Coast Pro that is like 45 minutes from my house. So I'm gonna hop into that one November 1st. So we got 10 days to even bring in a better package. You know, it's more or less maintaining right now without losing size. You start pushing conditioning, you're going to get flat, but I kind of know where to gauge where I'm at now with weight, and it's just keeping that stress low and then just pushing the fullness even a little bit more. Cause when you're that depleted and that lean, you could really push the fullness and you're not going to spill over because you're so in shape, you know? So I'm just kind of learning more about my body. I didn't do many shows this year, you know, before the Olympia was Toronto and then Olympia. And I feel like I'm just a guy that needs to compete, and more time always benefits my physique. So as long as I'm not looking in the mirror and seeing things digress, then I'm good and I'm ready to rock. And this is going to be the last one before I shut it down and put in for my Arnold application.
Let's fucking go. Hell yeah, bro.
that'll be awesome.
Man, now I gotta go to Arnold or go back to the Arnold.
How many? Oh, Ben's saying we forgot border states this weekend. I guess there's 3 Olympians in that.
Oh, there's 3 shows. I'm looking at them here.
I know Jason's in it. I looked at it earlier. I mean, these shows are all bumping, man. Like you got these guys that are coming out for points. Yeah.
Oh, Ruben, Jason, like those who I have are going to be in that top conversation. I have Jason taking that one, but again, there's so many shows going, and that's what I love about 2026. Where I've already noticed that there's like more shows, talk to promoters to try shows.
When is the break of shows? When does it stop? Is it late November?
After Atlantic Coast, I think it starts to slow down. There might be some overseas shows
until the Arnold, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, fellas. As always, I appreciate you guys. Drew, again, congratulations. You looked amazing. Ben, if you can hear us, congratulations on your win. And Hart, as always, brother, thank you for jumping on. Chris, I know you're always moving. Thank you for setting up and doing what you do. All right. Until the next one, fellas.